Hey everybody, it is February 29th, 2020, and I am about to utter some words that I did not think I would be saying in the year 2020. I bought not one, but two Windows XP computers. And why would I do that? Because these are them. And this is doesn't show up super great on video, but these are some form of weird terminal touchscreen computer that I purchased for 15 bucks at the coolest electronics store that I've ever been to, or at least that I've been to in a really long time, Skycraft Electronics in Orlando. And these things are just very, very responsive. Like, I'm just very impressed with how these things operate. And I know this doesn't look like Windows XP, but I saw the start menu come up, and so I thought to myself, for 15 bucks I can do something with these. But just to give you a quick idea, and I'm going to set this one over to the side, just to give you a quick idea, when you look at these things, you don't see much about the company Centec, but they're some sort of security company based out of Florida. And a little speaker thing over here on the side, and some kind of beefy piano hinge over here, and the power connector, I don't know if you can see this, the power connector is some weird green connector that I actually wound up at that same Skycraft store. I found this connector for 30 cents and guessed that the middle was ground, and plugged her in, and she fired right up with 110 volts. So we've got some kind of bracket on the back of this one that I don't know, that bracket isn't on the back of the other one. But I think the only logical thing that we can do is crack this open, and the little white stuff you see right there, that is a compact flash card. So I am very interested to know what we're gonna find. Now, what I have been told about this is that this is an Intel Atom 1.6 gigahertz processor, and it's obviously a touchscreen, looks like about 9 inches, and it is, I was told, upgradable. Here we go. So the first thing, I don't know if you can see this here, but that is a crap ton of hot glue. And all I can say before doing the very first thing on this is that, my friends in Florida, you are people after my own heart, that you have this is some form of motherboard that has hot glue, dip switches, a coil with wires, some kind of inductor with wires run over here, USB breakouts attached with one screw, and some sort of thumb drivey looking thing stuck in here with heat shrink over it. You've got stuff taped down, glued down, screwed down, zip tied down. What the heck is this? Now, I thought this was kind of a fluke, but when I played around with the software on the other one, it actually said 2013. And this one says 2013 on it. So I was expecting these things to be about 20 years old, and it appears that they're 7 years old. Now, I can see something else about this computer from my perspective that you can't see. So I'm gonna go to reveal that right now. So we have this thing, which I'm gonna do it this way. We have something here that says black box, and over here it says, looks like it says tag or tack on this bundle of wires. So let me think here. What would be the best course of action? The best course of action would be to get rid of these two zip ties, or at least that zip tie. I'm going to just get rid of that one zip tie for right now. And I can see right here that we have some studs, unlike the one that's holding the screwdriver. So I'm going to take this out and this out. Now I have not fired this up, so I'll never know if I'm the one who broke it if it doesn't boot. That was torqued down mighty torquey. Maybe even before I pull this, we should take a better look at what this top motherboard is before I worry about what's below it. So I see 8 sets of 2 jumpers each, and what I can see here, let's see, by looking right through the middle of that inductor, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but right through the middle of that choke or inductor, whatever that thing is, it actually says here JP3. So they hot glued the choke or whatever that is doing over top of the instructions of where to set these jumpers here. This is version 1.0 of the board, which I guess is good. Can't imagine what some of the beta versions look like. We've got a couple little connectors down here. We have this CN3 connector, which is going up here to the monitor. We have this interesting gate array programming, this little edge connector right here. And these appear to be a crap ton of terminal strips that apparently were not designed the way they should have been the first time. And then you've got a 4-pin Molex connector with 8 wires going into it. So that's fairly interesting. So we've still got 2 of these screws, and now I'm looking at the back here. You've got some kind of giant, I mean, that's got to be 80 pins right in a row here. So I literally have no idea what this board could possibly be doing. So let's find out. Now, the one that's on, I said it looks like it's running Windows XP embedded. Oh, hold on, I don't need to take that out, do I? No, I don't need to take that out yet. They're all the same, so I'm going to leave that here. So it's running Windows XP Embedded Edition. I saw that. And let's see here. What do I want to do? I want to maybe put something between these two before I flip this over. I got a mouse pad. That's close enough. All right, I don't know what's going on in here, so I'm gonna lay a mouse pad in and pivot this board out. Okay, so hold on. What do we have here? We do have. Okay, so these down here are on. They're bent fairly easy, but these things are still connected to something. So we're gonna get these flat screws out. I love this kind of stuff. Especially the fact that like it worked really well. I just tinkering around with those buttons, like it's some kind of log in, log out system, some kind of security system, and it was very responsive. So I have some high hopes for this thing, especially if I can put Linux on it, which I can't imagine why I can't. All right. So this is a BIOS version 0.3, which looks like it's fitting for the design of the board. And we have this 2 GB SD card, which means I don't know if this is storage or not. So what we also have here, and this is what kind of interested me, we have VGA, RS-232 9-pin serial, 2 Ethernet jacks, and 2 more USB ports, as well as some other JST looking connectors, and we've got this 2 GB compact flash. So if I had to take a guess, I would guess that this is some sort of like what do they used to call this, like a net what the heck is that black stuff there? You know, I guess this is some sort of net top box, or like, you know, one of those old IEEE Atom based motherboards that they have sandwiched in here for something else. Now these are K. I wonder, are those like relays? I wonder if these are some kind of relays. Do I want to separate? Look at, I mean, there's just hot, like there's hot glue. I don't know what you can see and what you can't, because I'm so interested in this. There's wires running through this screw hole, soldered on here, gooped with hot glue. Okay, So let's disconnect this and see. There's a lot of wires there, and I'm probably going to be cutting some zip ties and stuff like that. If nothing else, this board could act as a... Okay, so alright, there's a standoff there that wants to come out with it. I mean, this motherboard could be fun, but it's got a touchscreen, so all of that, interesting. Okay, so we got two more here. I don't know how I missed those. In the sea of black, what do they call that stuff? It's almost like potting. It's almost like they just decided to pot the outside of a couple of transistors or something over there. It's like a epoxy, and this has got the same stuff all over. I don't know if that's just for warranty purposes or what the deal is with that. Okay, this screw I thought was loose. I think there's like an edge. Okay, there is an edge connector on there. So this is getting more and more interesting. I'm going to cut this zip tie. I feel like I'm defusing a bomb. Okay, so the best I can tell, there is like this is like an 80 pin edge connector. Almost like your GPIO port for your Pi times 2. Okay, success on that side. Now there is something on this side. It feels more like zip. Okay, there's that Molex connector over here. So I am going to, the odds of this thing going back together. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect this Molex. Alright. I'm going to disconnect this black cable. I am going to, let's see, do these connectors look the same? I'm going to see what I can, okay, all right, oh, we're getting standard parts here. Okay. Starting to look more like a PC. Okay, so I'm going to take this. That is 10 pins right there. All right, so what do we have here? This KR400, I recognize this 2.6 volt RAM chip. This was in a crap ton of laptops. And there is just one slot, although it sits off the board, kind of interesting. So this is, to the best of my knowledge, 1 gig of RAM, but I did hear somebody say that you could have 8 on there. So this is the Atom chip, and then it has AMD Geo, I guess, graphics. You've got 2 Realtek 8100 Ethernets, which would make that a 10100. You've got 2 SATA ports here. And then this, I mean, if I had to guess, this has got to be like a duplicate of the VGA. This has to be something, let's see here. It doesn't say what it is, but that's got to be the VGA, just able to be taken straight off the board. Okay, so as I thought, those are relays. So we have 6 relays here. This is obviously some kind of access control panel. And I don't know that taking anything else apart is going to get me much more information, other than the fact that this motherboard looks like I could use it without all this stuff. So there's one other thing I see in here, and it is this thing. And this kind of concerned me a little bit. So this is, it says HP back here, and they are not talking Hewlett-Packard. They are talking about high potential. And so, let me grab a screwdriver here. So we also had that plate that I couldn't get off the back. So let's take a look at this. Ooh, I see what's going on there. Alright, so we have this, all that's protecting you from 110 volts, or 250, it actually says it handles 250 on the back, is this little piece of plastic. And now I'm guessing there was something, I don't know how much you can see, I'm guessing that there was a more standard PC power supply connector in there, or some other kind of connector, but it's going into here, and then you've just got, like, when you plug this thing in, you've got 110 volts potential between these different pins here, because you've got hot, ground, neutral. So I mean, you put your finger in the wrong place and you're gonna feel it. So we've got some smaller screws in here, and let's see, I'm kind of holding this awkwardly here. Okay, so we have just a switching power supply. A little transformer in there. Actually, we've got a 110 or 220 volt power supply right there. And what's really interesting to me, is this is the power switch, and it is not a soft power switch. Let me show you this. This little unit right here, it's a little spongy. That little unit there is switching 110 volts or up to 220 volts. Just right here coming from this power connector. Because I took a PC power cord and cut the end of it off and put 110 in here, and it runs up here, and this little teeny tiny switch is a hard power switch, turning this power supply on and off. That is very, very weird. That is the... Oh, hold on. We didn't even look at the screen. I was about to end the video, but we have more. So we're going to lay this gently over here, and we have all of this. So we have that thing that I was considering the VGA cable, and that is... Okay, that's this one coming over here. So that cable comes, and this is not, like, I do not want to break this, but it looks like it is just connected to an edge connector on the LCD. Okay, I see what's going on here. So what I was calling the VGA cable is a VGA, or something like that, coming in here, and it's coming straight to the driver on the board. And then there's another one that I'm guessing is going over USB, and this has got to be the touchscreen driver. There's just a touchscreen driver, double-sided taped to the back of the LCD, and then this has got to be something to step the power. Yep. So we're getting the this is coming off the Molex, and this is probably stepping us down to 12, 15, 19 volts, 6 volts maybe. This is stepping us down to DC to provide power for the LCD. I don't really see any reason to pull the LCD out. It's an LCD, you can see the front of it. But very, very interesting. And I paid 15 bucks for this thing, and I'm going to see what I can do with it. So, until next time, thanks for watching.